the story of England, the small kingdom that shaped the world. Before we begin, please like, share, and subscribe to support this work. And now take a deep breath, because the story you are about to hear transformed humanity. Imagine a cold island, isolated at the edge of the North Atlantic, a place that, centuries ago, was just a collection of tribes fighting for land, surviving invasions and storms. No one would imagine that there, on that seemingly irrelevant island, one of the most influential kingdoms in history would emerge: England. It all begins nearly 2,000 years ago, when Romans land and build roads, walls, and cities, and leave something important: the idea of organized government. When the Romans leave, the island is taken over by Germanic peoples: Angles, Saxons, and Jutes. From them comes the name England, land of the Angles. But it is in the 11th century that destiny changes. In 1066, the island is invaded by the Normans, led by William the Conqueror. It is the last time in history that England is conquered. From then on, a strong military kingdom is born, with an organized feudal system, immense castles, and kings determined to expand their domain, sometimes through diplomacy, sometimes through the sword. If you're enjoying the story, then support my work by liking, sharing with your friends, or supporting me by buying something through my link below. Let's continue. Over the centuries, England wins and loses wars that shape its character. It loses continental France, but creates the most powerful navy on earth. It loses bloody battles, but wins wars that define the European map. And when it looks outward, it finds in the sea the path to its greatness. In the 16th century, under the reign of Elizabeth I, England defeats the powerful Spanish Armada, something that no one thought possible. From that moment on, it ceases to be just an island. It becomes a maritime civilization driven by trade, navigation, and science. It is then that one of the most important parts of this story emerges: the Industrial Revolution. Few people know, but it all starts in the English fields. Farmers spent centuries testing new techniques to plant more in less space. This generated food surpluses, and when there is excess food, there is also time to invent. And they invented the first textile machines, the mechanical loom, the locomotive, the steam engine. England creates factories, railways, industrial cities, and changes the entire world. It is there, on that small island, that the concept of factory, mass production, and modern capitalism is born. What once took days to be made by hand is now produced in minutes by machines. And England grows so much that it transforms into the largest empire the planet has ever seen: a quarter of the earth, a quarter of the world's population, more than 70 countries and territories. That's why a phrase became famous: the sun never sets on the British Empire. But it wasn't just military strength that built this power. It was ideas. England gave the world parliamentary democracy, the Magna Carta, the first major limitation on a king's power, modern science with Newton, the theory of evolution with Darwin, modern economics with Adam Smith, the literature of Shakespeare, and the language that now connects the planet: English. However, the empire was not made up only of glories. England fought painful wars, faced revolts in its colonies, internal crises, hunger, poverty, and decisions that marked peoples all over the world. And when 2 world wars struck Europe, the empire lost strength. But here lies something that few people know. Even after the imperial decline, England used its culture, science, and institutions to continue influencing the world. Today, England and the United Kingdom still carries deep marks of its history: royal elegance, tradition, democracy, technology, centuries-old universities, and a culture that ranges from the Beatles to artificial intelligence. From a small tribal kingdom, it became a global empire, and from empire, it became influence. England never needed to be the largest in territory to be giant in impact. It dominated seas, ideas, inventions, and behaviors, and even today, though discreet, it continues to shape the world in silence. If you enjoyed this narrative, please like, share, and comment on the next country you want to learn about.